Hello everyone, I cordially welcome you all to another video from the Python tutorial series, and in this video we are going to learn about file handling in Python. So before we start, I have a small request. We have been recently observing that many of our lovely audience have not subscribed to our channel yet. So I will cordially request you all to please subscribe to our channel, as that will highly motivate us to bring more videos in future. And if you have already subscribed, then without any delay, let's get started. Now we come to the term file handling. So what is file handling? So in any programming language which you have learned previously, you know that those languages have some way by which they can handle a file. Now handling a file can come into many shapes. From web development perspective, let's say a user can upload a file from the UI. Now that file will be stored somewhere in the server, and the endpoint of that file where it is stored will be updated in the database. Similarly, in Python also, there will be multiple scenarios where you will have to handle a file. Let's say you are learning data science or data analytics, and you have been given a long file of which you have to read the data and then analyze it, and maybe have to output some statistical data in another file. So how will you do that? In those scenarios, apart from the third-party libraries also, you need to learn file handling. So file handling is one of the most important feature of any programming language. Not only in any programming language, but file handling is also important aspect from web application point of view. Python has some really cool ways of handling different types of file system. Okay, so Python is a versatile programming language which can and which actually does handle a lot of different kinds of files. And in this video, I will just play with a simple txt file to actually show you in brief that how we basically handle a file in Python. Let's go to the next slide. The open method. In Python, open is used to open a file in read or write mode. Okay, so this open method will actually help us to open a file and either to read data from it or to write data to it. Okay, and there may be a third scenario where you have to append that file. That is, if that file already consists of some existing data, you have to add some more data into it. Okay. The open function in Python takes in two arguments. The first argument is the name of the file, and the second argument is the mode in which the file opens. Okay. The first argument should be the name of the file, either from which you are reading some data or you are writing some data into it. And the second argument is the mode which you are using. Now, if you are not sure about the mode, wait for a few seconds. When we will go to the next slide, we will discuss about that in detail. The open function returns a file object. Okay. So basically, when you use this open function in Python or the open method, it basically helps you to open a file, either read data from it or write data to it, and then finally you have to close that file. Okay. And the open function basically takes up two arguments. The first argument is the name of the file which you are using, and the second argument is the mode. Now what is this mode? Let's learn. There are four types of modes that Python file system handling supports. They are R, W, A and R+. So R is for reading a file, W is for writing a file, A is for appending a file, and R+ is for both reading and writing a file together. Okay, but there is a small note attached to it. If the mode is not passed to the open function, it is R by default. That is, if you forget to pass the second argument, that is mode, to this open function, by default the value is always read. Okay, so if you don't specify any mode, the file will open in read-only mode. So I hope by now you are clear with the concepts, like why file handling is very important in light of Python programming, the open function that actually helps us to open and read a file or write data to a file, and finally the four different modes by which you can do the same. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So we have done enough of theory as of now, so let's go to VS Code and do some hands-on. Welcome to VS Code. Here we are going to learn how we can basically handle a file. Okay, so the first thing which I am going to teach you is to how to read a file. So here, as you can see, I have one text file, paragraph.txt, and this basically contains 3 lines of text. This is the first line, this is the second line, and this is the third line. Okay. Now, firstly, I will teach you how to read a file. Okay. So we make use of this open method, as I have said. So open then the name of the file, and then the mode in which you are opening it. So we are opening this paragraph.txt file and we are opening it in read-only mode. And as I have said, the open function basically returns a file object. So that file object is basically referred by this f variable, okay? And how do we read the data? We basically say print f.read. So on this file object, there will be a read method which will actually read the entire data that the file object contains. So if we run this code, you will see we will get the 3 lines on our terminal, okay? So let's do it. Let's run the code and check what we are telling is correct or not. So I will write python 30.py. And as soon as I run this program, you see, we are basically seeing the exact 3 lines which we are supposed to see, okay? So now let's go to the next example. This example is pretty similar to the previous one, but here I will tell you how we can read few characters from a file rather than reading the whole file. So we are again returning a file object from our open method which we are referring as f, and I will say f.read exactly like the previous example, but I will pass some number. So that number is basically the number of characters from the beginning we want to read. So now if we execute the code, you will see we won't get all 3 lines, okay? We will get the first line, that too partially. See, we are getting only this much because these are the first 18 characters which are present within this file. If I change it to some extent, let's say from 18 I am making it 25, you will see we get the entire first line and the first character of the next line. Let's go to the next example. In the next example, we are going to learn how we can create a file. This is a very important feature about how we can create a new txt file in Python. So here, as I have said, I am playing with txt file, but you can play with other files as well. So here we will use the same open method. In the first argument, I will write the name of the file that we want to create. So I have named it resume.txt, and then I will pass the mode, that is W. So W is for writing. Then this open method will return the file object which we will refer via this f variable. Now this f or the file object basically contains, like a read method, it also contains a write method. So write method basically helps us to write anything we want within that given file object. So I will say f.write, I am a content developer, f.write, I am a web developer, okay? And finally we will close the file. So this is a very important thing. Whenever you open any file for writing purpose, always close it, okay? So now if we run our code, we won't see anything on the terminal, but a file will be created. Let's check. So yes, as we can see, one file has been created, that is resume.txt. And if I open this file, you will see I have got my strings. I am a content developer, I am a web developer. Now you might ask, here there are 2 lines, but why I am getting both together? This is because in the beginning of the second line, I have not specified a new line character. Let's delete this as of now, and I will make some small changes and then I will show you. So here I will write the new line character, and now I will execute this code. And now you will see we will get the 2 lines in 2 separate lines. See, I am a content developer, I am a web developer, okay? So basically the concept of file handling in Python is vast and it actually requires a separate playlist altogether. But here I am actually giving you a brief about how we can do the same. And don't worry, very soon we are going to have multiple tutorials coming up on multiple things. So this file handling in Python will also be one of them, okay? So let's go to the next example. In the next example, we are going to learn how we can append a file, okay? So what is appending? So reading is basically reading data from a file. Writing is basically creating a separate file and write some data into it. But what is a append thing? So append basically takes up a pre-existing file and adds some new text with the text which was there previously. So as I have said, our paragraph.txt contain this is the first line, this is the second line, this is the third line. Okay. Now I am again opening this file, but now using this append mode. And then I am again using this write method. So f.write with a new line character. This is the fourth line. And then I am closing the file. Now what do you think? What should happen if I run this file? So basically in the paragraph.txt, this line will be added in the fourth line. After this is the third line, we will get this is the fourth line. So let's run the code and check. So as I run the code, you basically see now I have one extra line. This is the fourth line. Okay. So this is the essence of appending a file. The previous data is still there and we are writing something afresh. Now let's go to the last example for today's video. Now here we are going to learn about the with function. Okay. So with is nothing special, but it basically helps you to handle files in a more aesthetic way. Okay. So with actually automatically handles files such that you need not to manually open it or manually close it. You use this open method to read data or write the file, and if you are writing as well, with basically handle the closing part and all. So you can basically say this with method or this with keyword actually handles this file handling procedure in a much effective and efficient way. So it is pretty same. We write with open, the name of the file, the mode as file. So previously we were assigning our file object to f, but here we are saying we open the file as file. And here we write file.read. It's exactly same as per the previous example. There we were writing f.read, where f was the file object. Here this as file. So this file is basically the file object. And this file object has a read method which will read the entire content of that file. Okay. Similarly, we can write also. So with open cv.text, we open it write mode. File is the file object and we write I am a web developer. So let's run the code and check. So with this, you can see we are reading our paragraph.txt file and we are getting the exact 4 lines which we are supposed to get. Now for the write part, see we have got one new file cv.txt and it contains I am a web developer. Okay. So all our examples are working perfectly and I hope by this you are also clear with the concepts. So as I have already said, this file handling in Python is actually a big thing and it actually requires a separate playlist of its own. But here for now I am giving you a test of that thing. But very soon we are going to have our own tutorial in that case, and there I will only teach you these things only but in depth, and you will learn about other methods as well. But this is the overview, you can say. Okay. So let's go back to our presentation. So I hope you found this video informative. If you like the video, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, as that will highly motivate us to bring more videos in future. For any queries, doubts, suggestions or feedbacks, feel free to post them in the comment section. We are going to reply. So thank you for now. See you in the next video. Bye.